bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, man, let's do this. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. Today is Wednesday, February 15th, 47 days into the new year, just 318 days left. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What's cracking, everybody? How ya doing? Man. All right. Tonight we have very special guest Anaiis Salles with us. Earth 2.0. Get ready. Yeah. And what a great weekend in Fade to Black. Tomorrow night's another Fader night with John Rappaport. His No More Fake Newsroom live. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. We'll take some calls tonight. Who is that playing drums here, Jordan? Is that... Man, I'm trying to see. Who is that? Tell me, who is that? Kind of looks like, what's his name from Dockin'? You know, because it rhymes with rockin'. All right, man. Great gifts tonight. Okay. I always get distracted at the top of the show because I get all those dancers coming in, right? Can't help it. 323-825-5045. We will open up the phone lines a little bit later with Anaiis. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Follow, like, and subscribe. The sandbox is hashtag F2B on Twitter. We use TweetDeck here. So come and hang out with us. We don't bite. I always say we don't bite. It's because we don't bite. Right? And if you want to come in here and try to bite, you're going to get run out. No schmucks. This is a troll-free zone. Any questions or comments during the show tonight, just use hashtag F2BQ. Rattles the bunker door. What's up tonight, Jimmy Church? And that is from Gene Vato. All right. Do subscribe to our podcast. We have over 600 archive shows. Custom apps, Apple, Android, Kindle, all platforms. Just go to the Apple Store, go to Google, $2 per month. The apps are free. Just download them, and then head over to jimmychurchradio.com. That's all you got to do. Click on the podcast banner. It all happens right there for $2 a month. Help support the show, and do check out all of our sponsors. Please click on their banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo codes for discounts and free shipping. It's how we keep this show on the air. Yeah, it's called radio. Contact in the Desert is coming up May 19th through the 22nd. Here we go. Joshua Tree, California. There will be thousands and thousands of people there. It is probably, there's a couple of other big conferences, don't get me wrong, But Contact in the Desert is quickly becoming the biggest event of the year. It is huge. It's fun. It's cool. Oh, man, that's freaky. Mark Tarana, that ain't right. Dude, that ain't right. That ain't right. What is that? Where's that from? Oh, man, I can't even describe that. It is May 19th through the 22nd. This year, 50, 30, 40, 50, 60 researchers, authors. It's that big. This year, George Norrie, Graham Hancock, Jacques Vallée, Robert Paval, Robert Schock, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Jim Mars, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Richard Dolan, Andrew Collins, Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, David Serrata. That's right. And another 30 or 40 great researchers. I've just lost count. I've tried to, but they're adding more every single day, too. So just go to, I think there's 3 days left on the super duper discount. So we'll get that link up there, too. I just saw it earlier in Twitter. All right. Let's get this show cracking. Last night, Guns N' Roses were about to perform for 70,000 fans in Australia when their announcer and guitar tech, Mick Bob, said, "Hello, Sydney. You wanted the best, but they're stuck in traffic, so here's what you get from Hollywood, Guns N' Roses." The problem was they were in Melbourne. You should watch the videos of that, man. I could not imagine. Seriously, Spinal Tap. But there you go. It happened. Mick Bob, who is Australian. Right. Yeah, that's a mistake. Dave Schrader, Darkness Dave, would like to speak with you if you or someone you know is experiencing a haunting and need help. All right? A major TV production company is seeking stories to look into and possibly investigate. So if you got a situation and you want it fixed and you need help, send your contact info and details as soon as possible, ASAP, to Dave at darknessradio.com. All right, little sad news to pass along to everybody. Canada's Stuart McLean of the Vinyl Cafe passed away today. He was 68 years old. Wow. Canada's own. Millions and millions and millions listen to that show, the Vinyl Cafe. Stuart McLean passed away today, 68 years old. All right, happy birthday to today. Incubus frontman Brandon Boyd is 41. And Jane Seymour is 66. And now Jane is Jane. I get that. I really do. But go and check out the movie Head Office from the 80s. It's a movie from the 80s. Judge Reinhold, Rick Moranis. Huge, huge cast on that movie. Go check out Head Office. It's one of the funniest movies ever made, period. And Jane Seymour is excellent in that movie. So there you go. Jane Seymour today is 66. Matt Groening is 63, creator of The Simpsons. And so, I was just like, Matt Groening, The Simpsons, what is dude worth? So I looked it up today. The Simpsons have brought him a net worth of over $500 million. A cartoon. Matt Groening today is 63. All right. Our dead guy's birthday today is Galileo. Talked about him last week, right? Right? But that was because of the Inquisition, right? And the Vatican and going to jail. That happened last week. That was the trial. But today is his birthday. 1564 to 1642, died at the age of 77. Of course, the father of science. His contributions included confirming the phases of Venus. I still don't know how they got that done. I really don't. I can't do it today. Discovering the four of the moons of Jupiter. How is that possible? I mean, how is that possible? Inventing the thermoscope, the precursor to the thermometer. And, of course, the scientific revolution and his advocacy of the theory that the Earth revolved around the sun, which made him an enemy of the Catholic Church. House arrest for the rest of his life. Happy birthday today, Galileo Galilei. All right. On this day in history in 1961, sad day, the entire 18-member United States figure skating team is killed in a plane crash in Belgium. The team was on its way to the 1961 World Figure Skating Championships in Prague, Czechoslovakia. And there you go. Tragic, tragic day. Fader fact. 170 Swiss troops accidentally invaded Liechtenstein in 2007. That's right. They got lost. They got lost. Liechtenstein doesn't even have an army, by the way. Liechtenstein is surrounded on all sides by neutral countries and gets invaded by Switzerland. And you know what's funny? So they get lost, 170 troops. I don't know if it was foggy, if it was rainy, whatever. But they get lost. They cross the border. They're armed and dangerous, 170 troops. And a general from the Swiss army calls him and goes, man, we made a mistake. It's not a real invasion. And I'm serious. Liechtenstein literally said, it's cool, dude. I've seen the transcripts, the NSA transcripts. It's cool, dude. It's cool. It's cool, man. All right, we'll have breakfast. It's okay. All right? It's all good. And that is a Fader fact. I vetted it. It's a real story. All right, tonight, Anaiis Salles is here. We're going to talk about Earth 2.0. All right? And everything that is involved with that. It's going to be a dynamic conversation. So stay with us, open-ended. Let's do this tomorrow night, Fader night. John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom, followed by open lines. We're going to open up the phone lines tonight, too, as well. You're going to want to talk to Anaiis. All right. Last night, I think the last thing that I said at the end of my NSA rant was that I'm never wrong. Ever. Yeah, pretty bold. I get it. I do. But here we are 24 hours later, and, well, I is right. I am never wrong. Sure, it feels good, people. It does. But it feels good for all the wrong reasons. I don't want to be right about the NSA because this affects all of us. But let me go this route. I'm improving. When Snowden disclosed the fact that at any moment the NSA could pick someone, you, and off of that, within seconds, monitor you and everyone in your life. Within seconds. Just because a click of a mouse. And then everything that you have, everything, boom, and the ability to, in that thread, listen to and monitor everybody all in real time. It's a scary thought. You don't want to piss off the NSA. You don't want to do it. You don't want to be on their radar. We know now that the NSA and others agencies store absolutely everything. It is there not to listen and to read all communications in real time. That would be impossible. They do it, of course. They do. They're listening in real time. It's to who and to what and so forth. But it would be impossible. It's a manpower thing. But it's limited to not only their manpower at any given moment, but what's more important here is that they can go back. They can go back. They can go back and listen. They can go back and read to a specific person and or date for any reason. Maybe just out of boredom. Think about it for a second. Any reason. Anybody at the NSA. So, for example, guy works at the NSA. Dude at the Domino's Pizza pisses him off. Right. Messes up his pizza order. And the next thing, just because, I got nothing to do today, I'm going to go check out this Domino's Pizza guy. It can happen, and does. Of course it does. But with all of this stuff going on right now, over the last couple of months about the Russians and Trump's inner circle, well, that's one thing, and I don't care about it, really. I don't. But when Trump started his smack about our intelligent professionals, well, there's your reason right there to go back and have a little fun. Think about it, right? You just have to have a reason. Now, this is not, what I'm speaking to you right now, it ain't a Trump thing. It's not. It's not. It's a conspiracy thing. This is an NSA and surveillance thing. And right now, this is the conspiracy of Trump and the NSA running amok, out of control, because one has pissed off the other. And then one has pissed the other guy off back. And we are watching this happen. Think about this. Everybody in his group right now, in the now, had better lawyer up. I was right last night. I had said that over the next couple of days that we are going to find out about everything that has gone on with his people. It's all going to come out. Transcripts, who, what, when, dates, specifics. It's all going to come out. He pissed him off. You're the president of the United States. You're not protected, man. You're not. And everything that you've ever done or said, or your people, or your friends, or anybody else, is one click away just to find out everything. Everything. And now you're experiencing that. You shouldn't have done what you had done. If you just never tweeted or opened up your mouth, everything would be okay. As a matter of fact, Pence probably wouldn't know today about Flynn, and Flynn would still have his job. But no, right? Everybody is not trusting the person next to them. All the way. Everything. It's crazy. This is a real conspiracy. So when I say that they better lawyer up, it's because that everything that they've ever said to any Russian in their lives is about to go public. His inner circle knows exactly what they said and to whom. And right now, so does the NSA. Nobody is trusting nobody, and it's about to get really ugly. And the NSA holds the cards, all of them, and they are pissed off. You can't chill this out. You cannot throw water on these flames. It's about to get out of control. Everything that I had said about Snowden, one little click on one person and everything fans out. Thousands of people are connected to you. Thousands. It's the same thing here. And it's all recorded. They're not listening in real time. Sometimes they are. They have a reason. And I get that. But everything is recorded and stored. So all they got to do is have a phone number, have a person, have a date, have a reason, and that, man, all bets are off. So you better really have your ducks in a row. Here's the problem as I see it. Who knew what? Who is going to get connected to what? To who? To when? Why? Whiskey. Think about this. It's going to get ugly. I don't follow the mainstream media. First, I don't have the time. Second, You could read all of the media out there and still not get the real story of the truth. So it's a waste of time, especially for me. Can't do it. Nope. All I have to do to see the issues that are playing out here is go to the man himself and read his Twitter feed. Tells me all I need to know. That's all I really need to know, right? I don't have to second guess the media. I don't have to second guess what somebody is telling me. I don't have to second guess email. Just go to Twitter. It's all there. And in Twitter, he peed all over the NSA. It's right there. That's all I need to know. The CIA, the FBI, the media. And none of this had to be this way. None of it. First, if I'm Trump, and this is the truth, this is not a political thing. This is something that has the potential of getting so big and so out of control so quickly, a conspiracy so far and wide that's going to go from Russia to the White House and then some very, 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 very fast. And you're hearing it from me first. I was right last night. Here we are today. Watch what is about to happen tomorrow. So, if I'm Trump right now, the only thing that you can do is shut up. Your people, shut up. It's that simple. Stop tweeting. Stop everything. That's what you do. Just stop. Shut up. No more nothing. We don't need to know. And you're offending the people that you don't need to offend for no reason. Second, and probably the most important point, shut up about Russia. Dude, if you want to do stuff with Russia, do it back channels. Keep it low, keep it slow, and do your thing. But don't make this stuff public, because there are people inside of this country, in the NSA and the CIA and every place, that can't stand Russia, dude. So shut up about it. Every president wants to build a better relationship with countries around the world, including Russia. We get that, so go and do it. But this is about to get ugly. Third, at this point, whatever's going to come out is going to happen. You can't stop it. It's already started. So, focus on the country. Shut your mouth. Stop tweeting. Start doing your job. That's all you got to do. And us as Americans will love it. And it will help. It will help defend your position that's about to get ugly in the next couple of weeks. It's going to get out of control. So, focus on your job. Stop tweeting. Fourth, the White House needs the NSA, the CIA. They need all of those agencies. We need our intelligence professionals, and we need them focused. Don't burn that bridge. You're trying to burn the bridge down. The problem that I have with this is I'm afraid of something catastrophic that could be happening, some piece of intelligence that could be out there. Another, dare I say, some terrorist event here or in any country, but something crazy. And you know what? You're just not going to know about it because they don't like you. Think about it. You need their trust, man. That's what I would do. This is a conspiracy. This is the puppet masters. This is exactly what is going on in Washington. You think that it's all cool? It is not. And we're starting to see exactly, the control that the NSA has. I have said it a million times. Whoever gets elected as president finds out really quick that they are not the leader of all. It's a figurehead. It's a position. But you're going to find out that you're not the boss. And right now, you're going to get slapped. And it's going to get ugly. And it didn't have to be this way. This is the United States of America. Let's worry about us. Don't need to worry about voter fraud and walls and immigration and the craziness of all, and making everything, and Twitter and your daughter and, man, who cares? Let's worry about us. Let's build the bridges. Let's get our interstates done. Let's worry about employment. Let's bring down some taxes. That's what we do. If it turns out that Big Brother 1984 are about to surface for real, it'll make Watergate look like the big Girl Scout cookie scandal of 2010. It's not what was said and to who. I don't care. It's that you said none of it happened. So you better make sure that it didn't. But if it did, you can't cover it up. And the NSA is who you pissed off. So good luck with that. This is it. This is Big Brother coming down on us all. And we're going to watch this play out. I am not wrong. I can feel it coming. Don't read the media. Don't worry about it. Just listen to me. I'm telling you, it's going to play. And it's going to play just like I said. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles, is here. We are doing Earth 2.0 and everything that is connected to it. It's going to be a great conversation tonight. All of our websites are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at jchurchradio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. It's already coming in. I see it. You know I'm right. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fader Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Anaiis Salles is an engaging, deeper, and direct communion with our mother planet. She experiences Gaia, giving birth to a 5D Earth as a reality here and now. The now. Through Rise and on her own website, livinglessonslibrary.com, Anaiis has developed an online educational environment focused on replicating her multidimensional skills for all who feel called to co-create the new Earth with Gaia. One of her practical tools explains the Mandela effect and how we can consciously quantum jump into multidimensional shifts through which rebirth ourselves in alignment with our planet's transformation. One by one, two by two, we are liberated from the heart, mind, body, and soul suppression of the control grid. Man alive. I would like to welcome, for the first time, the Fade to Black Anaiis Salles. Anaiis, how are you?
I'm doing super, Jimmy. Wonderful to be with you tonight.
Well, you get the first-time guest disclaimer, Anaiis. It's an honor. Are you ready?
I sure hope so.
Okay, here we go. It's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. Wherever we start, we start. Where we end, but we're going to end as friends. Are you ready?
Great. I'm ready.
I read, I want you to share a little bit of your life story, if you will, because, I read, about your life and your history and pretty dramatic, lots of drama, but I think that all of us can relate to, well, when I say drama, you know what I'm talking about, that we all go through things in our lives personally. And I think that people can totally relate and go, you know what? She's cool, right? So could you share a little bit of that with us and your children and how you got to that epiphany day when things changed?
Oh, yeah.
So let's back up. Let's start here. What were your parents like? Were they out of control and crazy like yourself?
No. I grew up in a really wonderful, very kind of calm, very stable, upwardly mobile family. And considering where things were at that time, I grew up with a fair amount of privilege. Really, really wonderful. My grandparents were successful business people, my father's parents, and they had a second home, a farm out in the country outside of Philadelphia where we spent our summers and our holidays. And that really tied me to the earth. That experience of being with my family on that farm was, I would say, where I really felt really deeply rooted to nature. Right. And that continued. So, yeah, very straight-laced family who they were hoping I was going to grow up to be a lawyer, and then they imagined I would be the first woman president of the United States. That's what they were into.
So your parents weren't reading Edgar Cayce?
Oh, no.
Right,
no.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I could stay in Philadelphia in that environment. I've got lots of friends there. You and I were talking about that earlier. Love Philadelphia. But, okay, so take us through college. What did you go to school for?
Well, I spent most of my early life invested in art. And I was an artist, a bit of a, I had some talent. So I was very fortunate and had a wonderful time. And it was a great safe space for me because I was having all kinds of experiences that I couldn't talk to anyone about. So I would just go make some art and get very quiet. And, that's how in a way, I trained people to leave me alone.
Were your parents okay with the art thing as opposed to
they were.
law? Okay.
They were.
Okay.
They were very okay with the art thing because in a way I was fortunate and, for the first 20 years of my life, I kind of felt like a show dog,
Right.
And so as long as I was bringing home the ribbons and all that kind of stuff, they were like, go for it, honey. We love it.
Right.
And so that was all good. And I have to say they've been an extraordinarily loving and supporting family because they began to be aware, I would say by the time I was 11 or 12, that there were some things going on with me that none of us could explain.
Such as?
Well, I had a lot of precognition and clairaudience and clairvoyance going on then. And it would come up at things like we'd be waiting for my aunt and uncle and my cousins to arrive for Thanksgiving dinner, and they were late. And this was in the days before cell phones. And I would just kind of tune in, and I'd say, oh, well, they'll be here. They're a little late. They were in an accident. Everybody's fine. They're on their way. And people would just look at me to say, like, what are you talking about? And then they would show up, and they'd say, oh, we're sorry we're late, but we got into a little bit of a fender bender, and,
No kidding.
No kidding. So that was a little bit of unruliness. And then I had a lot of interesting experiences in the education system, in public education. And I really felt like there was, very early on, I felt like, there's something going on here where I'm supposed to not be who I am. And I'm not sure what this is all about, but this isn't going to work for me. So I began to, in a way, figure out how to kind of move around throughout the system.
Right.
And then use my skills and my creativity to put myself where I wanted to be.
And, okay, well, let's move forward because at the end of this, I'm going to ask you, what does your family think about you now? Okay, so you know where this is going.
Well, I'm just game. Let's go. We'll go where we go.
So you get married, and tell us about that.
That was really all I wanted. That was it. I was just like 6 kids. Put me in a farmhouse, let me grow some vegetables, and let me make art all day, change diapers, and cook. That's what I wanted.
And?
That's not what I got.
That's not what you got.
So interesting things happened. I had my first out-of-body experience. My son Seth, he's a grown-up fella now, but at the time, I didn't know what an out-of-body experience was. But I had one shortly after he was born. He was taking a nap. I was washing the kitchen floor, and the next thing I knew, I was looking at myself from the ceiling.
Wow.
And I was accompanied by guides, I would call them, or energy that was with me, that was communicating with me telepathically. There wasn't anything to see there, but they were talking to me and they were explaining to me what was happening and that they were going to teach me the meaning of work, which
now,
they have.
This was the first time ever, right? I mean, This just happened out of the blue.
Yeah.
Were you freaking out?
No, it was really cool.
Right.
It was really cool. I was like, how do we do this? This is interesting.
How long did it last?
That's hard to say because I was by myself.
Right.
But it lasted long enough for me to be really clear that I was in 2 places at the same time. And I was now out of my body, completely conscious and aware, and I had company.
So share this with me. When you were looking at yourself, did you continue to just wash the dishes and do your thing?
I was mopping the floor, and I continued to mop the floor.
Man, what a trip.
It was really trippy. It was.
Must have been really cool. Okay, tell me what the guides were telling you.
They just said, eventually I opened into pretty much full-on memory about many, 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 many scenarios in which I've been playing around here on this earth playground. And what they wanted me to know was that in many of those situations, I hadn't really had to work. Right. Other people did the work for me.
Right.
And I had gotten kind of used to that. And they were letting me know that wasn't how it was going to go this time.
Did you ask them why you?
No. Nope. I wasn't. It just really. How can I say this? It didn't faze me that much.
Did you tell your husband?
No.
You kept it? Well, I wouldn't have either. But, okay, so you keep it to yourself. What happens next?
Well, there were other things. Again, about a little less than 2 years, my first child's birthday, my very best friend came to visit, short visit for the summer. She was heading out west with some friends. She was taking a break from college, and they had picked up this VW van, and they were at our place. By now, I'm living at my grandparents' farm because that's where I wanted to place myself, so I did. And my grandmother wasn't living there anymore, and my husband and I were living there with the baby. And she came to visit, and she looked, I didn't know what words to describe how she looked. She looked absolutely gloriously radiant. And she was 19, so I said to her, "What is going on with you? Like, you look fabulous. Who is he? Are you in love? What's happening?"
Right.
And she's laughing. She's like, "Oh, no, everything's fine." And then during the course of our visit, because she was going to stay for a few days, I learned that she had participated in one of the last demonstrations against the war in Vietnam and had gotten smacked on the back of the head with a billy club and knocked out. And they took her in to be evaluated. They kept her overnight. They said she was fine. They let her go. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I've still got this lump on the back of my head." And I was like, So the time came for her to leave. And I I had a feeling. I said to her, "Listen, you know what? Do me a favor. Don't pick up any hitchhikers, on your way out there. I want to hear from you, not about you." So that was on a Thursday. And Saturday, actually, my husband and I were on our way to New York. We were going to go see a Broadway show. And the phone rang, and my husband answered it. And he, I'm seeing nodding his head. And then he hung up the phone, and he looked at me. He said, "Well, I think you better sit down." I said, "Well, my mother, my father?" He said, "No." I said, "Your mother, your father?" He said, "No." I said, It's Abby, isn't it?" He said, "How could you know that?" And when she had driven away that Thursday, I knew I wasn't ever going to see her again.
Oh, man.
That she had completed whatever it was she had come here to do. Right. She had done it.
Right.
That's a hard thing to go through.
Right. Did you have, obviously the glow part is very interesting, right? And you can go back and reflect on that. But did you have anything else that stood out for you that was going to give you this kind of indication of her future?
Oh, we were such deep friends, and I felt she had come to say goodbye.
Right.
And she was beautiful. She was luminous. So clearly, whatever her soul, I like to believe that we are ensouled people.
Right.
There was a unification there, and I got to see that, a human being looking like that, and then understanding what that may implicate. It was an amazing experience.
Has she reached out to you since?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, of course. Okay, what happens next? Okay.
I tried to be normal.
Right, and it didn't work out, did it? You and your husband. Look. I'm gonna tell the audience this, that Anaiis has let it all hang out. Okay, so she has been very passionate and has let everything. It's there for the world to see. So I'm not exposing anything that isn't already there.
Oh,
but
no, you're not, because the journey that I'm on is one of full-on authenticity. We need to help each other with this. We need to really know what we go through, and we need to know what happens and how we confine ourselves as we try to be, quote, normal human beings, which is, people who are completely, for the most part, suppressed.
Right.
And are not using anywhere near their capacities, their natural birthright capacities.
Right. And
I was one of those people.
That's right. And what's really great is you are figuring this out. It's kind of like a real-time documentary of your life, right? And you're letting us know that. If you know what I'm trying to say here.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so take me to...
Fast forward,
yeah.
Fast forward. I'm going to take a sip. I'm still just trying to be normal.
At this point, you're trying to be normal.
Yeah, I'm trying to be normal. And then, the things weren't going well in the marriage because I was on such a different wavelength than my husband. And, he was okay, but it was a really different wavelength. So I developed a physical problem after the birth of my son, a couple years down the pike. And that experience led me into being aware of how I could heal my body. And, the details are kind of, gory. But anyway, I ended up not being able to get pregnant again because I'd had a copper 7 put in after the baby was born. Don't do that, by the way, if you're listening out there. Don't do that. After, it wasn't in very long, and it just didn't feel right. And I kept going back to my gynecologist saying, I'd just really like you to take this out. And those were the days where the doctor was king, and he's like, "Oh no, you're just fine. Don't worry about it." And so we went on like this. And finally I said, "No, you know what? It's my body. So take it out." Okay. So, we figured within a year's time, we'd have a little brother or sister for my son, and nothing was going on and couldn't figure out what was happening. So I went to a different group of doctors. And they did a test that I also say don't ever have that test unless you really have to. It was torture. But the result of the test was that I had developed a low-grade pelvic infection that had gone undiagnosed. And so now both of my fallopian tubes were completely occluded. Nothing was going through. Zero, zip, nada. And so they said, well, here's the thing, we could do a laparoscopic surgery with about a 20% chance of success, but more likely what will happen is you'll get pregnant and you'll have an ectopic pregnancy, and that could be a mess, and yada, bada. So I thought, ugh. But I really felt that what I think of as my soul was really giving me a really big message, and it ended up being a profound lesson. So that progressed and got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then nobody could tell me what was the matter. There was a secondary problem that developed. And then what happened was I got information, as I do, clairaudiently, that the thing for me to do was to just take 5 minutes 3 times a day and sit down and get quiet, relax, and visualize myself on a little sled, very sharp razor blade runners. And then I was to start at the top of each fallopian tube and sled down and just have fun. And so I said, sure, I can do that. What the heck, right? So I did that. And a year later, all of the scar tissue fell out in one clump. And I had a second child, totally uneventful.
Totally uneventful. Everything's 10 fingers, 10
Absolutely.
toes. Right.
Totally just beautiful.
Right. And now I would never, I say this, I'm not a doctor, right? And, I would never suggest anything, but this is what I do. It's almost like it's almost just like what you just said. I go to when you need a doctor. You need a doctor when you break your arm.
Exactly.
That's when you go to the doctor. You get a cast, and you get some Vicodin. That's when you need a doctor. Everything else, right? It's just like...
it's in us. It's in us.
Yes,
too. Yes. Yeah, it is. It's within us.
And that's what I do. But I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. But I'm just saying, you get in a car accident, something tragic happens, you go to the doctor. Okay,
absolutely.
I get that. You need to get some stitches. You're not going to do that at home. But everything else, when it comes to prescriptions or preventive this or that, it's you're taking a pill to fix the effects from the pill, right? And then the next thing you know, you've got 30 pills in front of you, and all you're doing is running in a circle.
Yeah. Well, they had told me they couldn't fix me.
Unbelievable.
The medical field had told me they couldn't fix the problem. So it was like, you're on your own.
A sled with runners.
Yeah, really sharp, like little razor blades.
That's incredible. Have you continued to do that methodology?
To use visualization?
Right.
Oh my goodness, yes. Our imagination, the human beings don't understand. Our imagination and ability to visualize is the most priceless gift that we have.
So, how? Okay. Let's. We're going to head to a break in about 5 minutes here. So let's get this first part of your life out of the way.
Well, let's set it up.
Let's set it up because we've got a lot to talk about tonight.
Well, yeah, the first healing was my introduction to becoming a healer was me first, my body. I had to fix my problem. And then the next situation was where my second son developed juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. We got a diagnosis on that, and within 3 months we had fixed his problem.
Your first husband, how long did that marriage last?
That was for 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And so where are we in that 7-year cycle with your son right now and the arthritis?
Yeah, he doesn't have it anymore.
No, I'm saying at this period in your life, where are we?
Oh, well, we're in Philadelphia. I am no longer married, and that's where we are. And I have this sick baby.
Right. And did you wake up one day and go, you know what, I'm out of this marriage? You obviously deal with emotions and broken hearts, and you've spoken about this. How did that happen? Because that's part of your transformation for sure. It
is. And we agreed that we were better off going our own separate ways because we were just in such different places. And I didn't want him to change. I wasn't interested in trying to force him to change. And I clearly wasn't going to change. So that was an amicable parting. Was
right.
Fine.
Right.
And so, but the second scenario, and I know you've got to go to a break, but that setup began with, I had a horrific past life dream in which my son, who became sick, I saw the circumstances of his death, and I was partially responsible for that.
Right.
And I woke up from that dream, and that very morning he had a fall. I wasn't there. He wasn't being attended to all that well. I was downstairs making breakfast. He had a fall. I heard him scream. I came upstairs. He'd fallen on his back from a bunk bed. And the next day, the rheumatoid arthritis, which is what it was diagnosed, presented itself. What it was a body memory of that fall, that deadly fall, because in that past life he had died from a fall, and I was his mother. And we were kicking off with that relationship again, and we had to work through that.
So when you went off and went to I guess a retreat, right? I guess, is that the way to call it?
Yeah, I wanted to know what was up with the out of body stuff because it kept happening. And I couldn't find a useful purpose for it. It was just titillation.
Right.
I'm out running around all over the place, hither, thither, and yon. And when I'm going to see friends and they're all asleep.
Right.
And then I'm traveling through the solar system. I'm doing all these things. I said, wait. This is silly.
Right.
If you can't show me a really good purpose for this skill,
right.
I'm not interested.
Right. And could you, before you went to the retreat, Could you turn it on and off? Or were you trying to just figure out, you needed to seek professional help, right? You needed somebody to tell you what was going on.
No, I knew what was going on, and I had reached the point where I could do it at will.
Right. So you go to you go to the retreat, and who do you meet?
Well, it was wonderful. I went to the Monroe Institute, and Bob Monroe had written a book called Journeys Out of the Body. And when that book fell on my head in the bookstore, I said, oh, this is really great. Maybe I'll learn something. And then I thought, oh, well, I've just got to go there. And so I did. And then that changed everything. That changed everything.
Yeah. And everybody has an epiphany, right? Well, hopefully everybody does.
Oh, my God.
And this was certainly yours. So share that with us before we hit this break.
Well, I thought I was going to go and be in an environment where I would learn more about the out-of-body experience and I would find out what to do with it that would be really useful. What happened instead was that I had a full-on organic Kundalini awakening, completely did not know what was going on. There's this light shooting up the center of my body, exploding in the middle of my head. And when I came out of that, I had all kinds of energy pouring out of me, out of everywhere, that then clearly became, it was obvious that was to be used for healing.
And when, you hear about this all the time. Did you, I know it came out of nowhere, but, yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And which it did, were you able to replicate it now that you know what the experience is, and how did you share it with everybody else there? And one last question. Were there witnesses to your transformation?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the people at the Monroe Institute, that I'm not the only person that's happened to. They were very prepared for what happened to me. And they were great. And that was a little, because when I had the awakening and the pop happened, what happened was that my pineal gland was activated and corpus callosum lit up with all this light. And I was then in an environment where past life after past life after past life after past life after, they were showing me all this stuff. And again, I was like, whoa. You know what? I'm not really interested. What's the point? This is just so much titillation. You don't have something for me to do with this? I'm not interested.
Right.
Right. And it was at that point that all this wonderful, wonderful, really intense healing energy came through. And I used it immediately. I went in after this experience and I'm sitting around with this group of people. I'm saying, can somebody tell me what these pipes are? I have these pipes now. And I'm pointing. I didn't know anything about chakras. I was like, I've got these pipes. What are these pipes? What's this energy coming through these pipes? I have pipes in my hands, pipes in my feet.
Right. Incredible.
Oh, God.
Yes, let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight is Anaiis Salles. And tonight, this is Earth 2.0. And we are going to connect everything. Well, we're going to try. Okay, we're going to run out of time. I know that we are, but we're going to get in as much as we can tonight. It's going to be an amazing conversation. Connecting the dots. Earth 2.0. Anaiis Salles. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Kat Deely, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're of the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. and you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, Fade to Black. Here we go. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles. That's it. We're doing 2D, 3D, all the way to 5D, Earth 2.0. We're going to get into the Mandela effect. We're going to do quantum jumping, out of body. Everything is included at no extra charge. And we're going to do it tonight. Now, Anaiis, okay. There's a date from last year, September 16th, 2016. That's a very important date. And so we're going to talk about that. I don't know if you know this, but that date was a crazy date for us, too, as well. Did Rita speak to you?
Was it? No.
Okay.
She didn't tell me this.
Okay, we started posting.
Ooh,
started posting the pictures here on Twitter. So Rita's going to let these the rest of these photos pop out. David Icke was speaking on September 17th, 2016, on a Saturday here in Southern California. On September 16th, the night before, we had a huge party at our house, a little pre-party for David Icke, with all of the right minds, right? All of our friends that were going to David Icke the next day. And it was a pretty cool evening. So imagine that. Now, I could go down the list of the people that were here. That's not the point, you know. I'm not going to name drop. But it was a very eclectic, cool crowd. And that happened on September 16th. David Icke spoke on the 17th. Isn't that trippy? That's
trippy. That's great.
Yes, everything is connected. Everything is connected. All right, so let's talk about that date, September 16th. What are we talking about here?
Well, by that time, I had been going through a lot. It's just the progression of skills. You know, in the Eastern tradition, they call these things siddhis, SIDDHISs. And they're skills that, supposedly masters have. Well, I hadn't been through any kind of master's training, but I had all the skills, and they kept developing and developing and developing. But when it came to September 16th, I woke up and the planet spoke to me. We were in conversation. She said, I've started the division process has begun. We are now moving toward Earth 2.0. And she had invited me during Hurricane Sandy. I was in meditation that whole day. And she asked me while I was in meditation, she said, would you like to live on Earth 2.0? And I didn't even ask. I said, I didn't say like, what is Earth 2.0 or how do I get there or what's going to be involved? I went, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Very
and that
cool.
led to the 16th of September where she said, okay, babe, we're on it. We're going.
Okay. Continue. Just continue. This is amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing, it's an amazing event. So
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And, because of the past, and what I didn't get to share was after the retreat when I had that amazing Kundalini awakening, I quantum jumped then. That was my first really big quantum jump experience. And it changed my entire life because I wasn't on the right timeline to be where I am today.
Yeah. And for the audience really quick, what is a quantum jump?
A quantum jump is when your multidimensional being and you come to an agreement that you can be on a more optimal timeline to express yourself, to live your path to purpose in this life, and you and your multidimensional self make the agreement to arrange the quantum jump. When that happens, literally all of who you are, what you think of as your self, your conscious identity, your personality, your body, in a blink of an eye, all of this is really pushed through as a packet of light, faster than the speed of light, into a new situation. The only thing you feel is like you lost your keys, you left your keys somewhere. You don't remember where you parked your car, but it's your life.
Right. And okay, yeah, please continue. Yeah, I know.
You know that feeling. Yes.
I totally. And the audience is going, yep, I get it. I do.
Yes.
I get it. Yes. Okay. So what happens next?
Well, this is a beautiful time, and here we are, and we came to the end of 2016, and there was some going back and forth. Earth 2.0 is 5D, and I would go back from 5D to 3D, to 5D to 3D, because there was a kind of a membrane, like a bridge, for a while. There was a bridge where people were still sorting themselves out. They were trying to decide. Some people were deciding consciously. Some people were making the decision unconsciously where they were going to line themselves up in terms of the planet's sovereign timeline.
Okay, Anaiis, move your microphone a little bit further away from your computer.
Further away.
Yeah,
all right. There we go.
That's what's going on.
Yeah. So that's happened, and those of us who are on Earth 2.0 and living in 5D, we know it because it's the hassles, the negativity, the really destructive energy. We're watching that as observers, while other people are on that timeline that we're hearing about in the news and all this stuff that's going on. But those of us who are on Earth 2.0, we're already starting to build the new paradigms. We're already coming together. We're activated on the internet. Right. Internet.
Yeah. And as this starts to unfold, and you start to see what is about to happen for all of us, how are you able to put that into words? Because it must be difficult.
Well, I do have a process. I was having a really good conversation with a friend about this a couple of nights ago, and he was asking me how I experience what I experience. It is an energetic, it's a feeling. There's an energy change. Underneath all of our words, there is energy. And when we go in and we feel the energy, if we're connected, heart, mind, body, and soul, we have a way to translate the experience not only into language, but also into physical presence that other people understand.
Okay, and why Earth 2.0? Is it a reboot?
Yeah, it's a reboot. This is Gaia. This is who Gaia intended to be. She's doing her thing now. I'm going to get a cough. Give me a minute here.
Okay, I muted you.
Okay. We've had a long time on this planet where the divine feminine, where Gaia as a feminine being has been so suppressed and so brutalized. Because this is a place where we are in it's kind of the worldwide wrestling of consciousness here. It's just been insane.
Right.
And she herself is a being, and she's ready to evolve. And she will do that with or without us. She would like some of us to go along for that journey, but under her rules now. Now we go under her rules. And that has to do with a heart-centered connection to the planet, with understanding how we are co-creators, how we take responsibility for being co-creators, how we practice our co-creative skills together and individually. And we start to build the new paradigms of business, of relationship, of health, and we can see over the last, 20, 30 years, there's been a gradual opening up of all of these topics that, when I was first out there, when I was in Russia doing hands-on healing work next to doctors with critically burned patients and kids with cancer, you couldn't do that in the United States.
Right.
You just couldn't do it. And so I felt like I was on the pointy edge of the wedge, just sort of like slicing through the membrane. There are some of us who just kept on slicing through the membrane, and we're still doing it to cut away all of the overlays that have kept everybody suppressed.
When we talk about timelines, and we talk about the, I want to get into the Mandela effect a little bit here, and we talk about how things are changing in front of us. And is this part of again an alternate timeline that is part of Earth 2.0? Is this part of what's going on? Is there something that is causing this and making us aware of this consciousness shift that is happening?
Well, I suppose, Jimmy, in the last month, you've been tracking the impossible amounts of energy that have been bombarding this planet.
Yes.
And the Schumann resonance rising.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And what's beautiful is I'm watching as we continue to slice through the overlay membranes. We're going to hear all this hubbub. Oh, it's Nibiru. Nope. Oh, it's ascension. Nope. Oh, it's Christ returning. Nope. We're going to slice through all of those narratives. All of them. And none of them are really going to come true. If you're not experiencing any of those narratives, that's a good thing, because the earth is not interested in those narratives. She's ready for her own narrative. She's rising, and she's going to be telling her own story instead of these crazy overlays that, it's fun to think about where this stuff comes from. But you can see the amount of power and energy that it has taken, not just from the planet herself, from her core, which is really shaking and rocking and rolling. Do you remember from 2011 all the way through all the earthquakes we've had? This planet's been ringing like a bell.
We had an earthquake at the Conscious Life Expo.
Yes, you did.
Yes, that was crazy. And what was funny is because we were down in, I haven't spoken about this. Okay. We were in the bottom floor in the basement in the Plaza Ballroom, right? And so we are on terra firma. It's a big hotel. So if you're up on an upper floor and the building shakes, okay, well, it could be anything. But we were on the bottom floor and in the basement. And it's a big room, and underneath my feet, it happened, and it was real too. It was like a jolt, And I thought to myself for a nanosecond, okay, that was somebody moving equipment, or it was this. And then it just dawned on me, wait a minute, we're in the basement. And I looked out, and I could see everybody's faces in the crowd, right? I see a few hundred people going, what? And I said, did you guys feel that? And when everybody went, yes, I think we just had an earthquake. And everybody, yes, we did. And we shared it together. I'm just glad it didn't spin out of control, which is usually what happens, but it didn't. But we had that moment this weekend. Yes, they are happening all the time.
Yes. Yes, she's doing her thing. She's giving birth to herself in her higher dimensional form. And the baby, we're past second stage labor. The baby, the head's crowning, we're in it. So we will be in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful discovery. But what I want to share is what I have experienced is that this is unique and it's an individual journey. Some of us will make similar journeys together. It's an individual choice, and the timelines will be different depending on what you choose, whether it's conscious and whether you're aligned with the planet in terms of heart and source, and just the deep, deep love and appreciation for who she is as a being.
Well, and that's great. And that's great for the people that get it, which is the majority of this audience. But what about those that don't?
Well, we shall see. I know that I have encounters every day with people who are making their own choices about what they're going to decide about the reality that they live in.
Right.
I have people who are close to me. They are making different choices. And that's fine. We're all going to get to choose what it is we want and what we create based on fear. You can be doing a lot of creating based on fear. This is when the planet is going to show us without any question of a doubt, human beings, you are meant to be co-creators. You are meant to be stewards of this planet. This is the time when you learn these skills and you put them into use. And that's what you're doing here. And if you're not doing that, you're going to be somewhere else.
Right. Exactly. And so when you are speaking like this to somebody that may not understand or would say to you, Anaiis, okay, that's great. But I need some proof here. Right? And I know you hear it. What do you say to those people?
I don't approach people that way. I don't. I have more respect for them and their individual journeys than that. I simply am who I am, and I just radiate the information. I make it available to them. I don't force it down their throats. People ask me, I tell them what I know. I give them comfort. They can feel that something else happens when I'm in the room with them, and if they want to have a piece of that, and figure out how to use it for themselves, they are absolutely invited to do that. So once we really respect each other, and that's part, for me, that's part of being a co-creator, is I have to respect your choice.
Right. And for those of us that do get it, what can we expect? And what is it that is going to open our eyes?
I will tell you that I took another big quantum jump in the last month or so. It's not even been a full month yet. And what's unfolding now is, for me, I've been in a literal state of, I'm been blissed out anyway, because I'm really being 100% who I'm meant to be.
Right.
So I am finding now that all kinds of beautiful co-creative opportunities are coming. People are stepping up. I've just been given a wonderful gift to have work sponsored to do retreats and other group events in Europe this summer. Came out of the blue last week. Someone approached me and said, I have a gift for you. What would you like to do?
What was the gift?
I'm not going to say. It was just a beautiful set. It was like a magic wand. What do you want to do? Here you go. Go do it.
Okay. And so, what's going to happen? What are you going to do?
Well, I'm working with some fabulous people. You may know Sienna Leia from Rise. You probably know George Kavassilas, Greg Paul. We're coming together to create something really beautiful that we will be inviting people to join us in Europe this coming summer. And I'm going to be doing a particular very wonderful opportunity for people to join me in what I call the Sacred Master Key Workshop, where I really go into advanced co-creative skills. This is the kind of stuff where you can steer storms, where you can move molecules. We're talking co-creator, advanced work. Going to be doing that, and we're going to begin in Scotland, and then we're going to go to the UK. And then in the end of July, I'm winding up with a retreat in France, healing the beloved, dealing with sexual wounding, the bliss path, the divine feminine, divine masculine in co-creative partnership, right? Now, 2 weeks ago, I wasn't doing that.
Continue. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Now I am.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's what you can expect to happen when you are really, really fully engaged and you're asking the planet. My daily practice is to ask the planet how I can best serve her.
Do you think that we now, okay, I'm just going to get this thought out all at once. Do you think that now we are getting closer to connecting our consciousness and ourselves around the world, where we lacked that and gave it up for so long, but today, we're starting to wake up? Do you think it's the internet that is doing this, that we're able to communicate to people around the world, and our brains are now starting to vibrate just a little bit differently, and things are different today?
Yes, Jimmy, but let me ask you something, okay? Who made the internet? Who put all those pieces together? Human beings did that.
Right.
So this is what when I did the work in Moscow, Russia, the healing work, I was like, we are the technology. We are the technology. And the only reason that we were able to create the internet and these computers and all this stuff is because that's who we are. But we needed an externalization of it to give ourselves permission.
Bingo. And why? Okay, let's back up a little bit here. Let's talk a little history. Why do you think that it was something that we let go of 5,000 years ago, when there was no internet, no TV, no cell phones, no distractions or anything? Everything was about the self. Everything was about the mind. And things were cool. We understood that. We understood Earth and friends and consciousness. We did. And then everything just let go and rotted. Right? What happened? Why do we lose the ability to love and the Earth and
we
everything?
Didn't lose the ability. We were brutalized out of it. We were brutalized by invaders. We all know we have beings on this planet that don't belong here.
Right.
And this is, to me, the quantum jump, the thing that I learned about this last big, huge quantum jump that happened for me, took me back 500 years. I mean, it just was so gorgeous. It's going to probably be the last chapter of my book. It's like, friends of mine said, your book's not done yet. You have one more chapter to write. I was like, geez, I don't know what that is. Well, I started to write it. But the thing is that experiencing that jump helped me to understand a quantum jump when we move through time. And when we do this, we move through time. And what I've discovered now, because I've been able to do this consciously, is that there's a time component of a past life, or some place where your skills and life force was shut down because of a broken heart. from this system that has been on this earth now, what do we think, 10, 15,000 years?
Right.
That's when we lost it.
Right.
So this is your time, those of you who are listening, to not only reclaim your multidimensional self, but to allow your multidimensional self to heal your broken heart, all the broken hearts on the planet's broken heart. And when we have that kind of a heart resonance going on, unimpeded, that's what the Schumann resonance is about.
I've got a list of questions here that are very interesting in Twitter, and I'm going to get to some of these right after the break. But one of them is this. Is it just me? This is from John. He says, is it just me, or does anyone else feel left out of this 5D Earth? I honestly can't tell. Things have changed. How do you answer that? Because I totally get what he is saying here. And, so how do you respond to that?
Okay, so let's imagine that the human collective actually forms a body, a living body, just the way we walk around now, right?
Right.
There are going to be some parts of our body. Let's say we walk into a room. What's the first thing that enters the room? The foot.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So the foot knows we're in the room. What might be the last thing to enter the room, right? I want people to really take this in. We are a body now. We're becoming a body and Gaia is giving birth to us. So just relax, because there are some of us, like I was, how long ago? 1989. I am hacking away at these overlay membranes that have kept us suppressed. This will go on for some time, but the body is not just the foot. We're all part of this. So just relax, do your work, keep your heart open. Not everybody is meant to go out and machete down the brush to make the trail for other people to follow. That's just take it easy. Just stay with yourself. Work on forgiveness. Work on self-love. Really, and let your heart heal till you can actually feel a resonance all through your body where you know what you want.
Is it that easy? Is it really that easy?
Yes.
Let's take a break right here. I feel better. I feel smarter. Feel smart already. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles. We are talking about that transition, 2D, 3D to 5D Earth 2.0, right here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. More with Anaiis right after this short break.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Oh, fall. My favorite time of year. Cooler temperatures and, well, let's be honest, layers. Lots and lots of layers. Look, I get it. We all have that favorite hoodie. Matter of fact, I've got a few favorite hoodies. You should wear yours. Enjoy it. I do. But I stay focused on my health year-round. And for me, I take Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. Nature's Youth RSF from nature'syouth.com. I eat right, control my portion sizes, still maintain a commitment to regular fitness, and I get plenty of rest, and I take Nature's Youth RSF. It's okay to cover up your beach body for a few months, but don't just forget about it. Nature's Youth understands exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products, and Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain peak performance levels and fight the aging process. So layer up and get started today with Nature's Youth RSF. nature'syouth.com. Simple to use, even simpler to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now.
I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles. Yes, we are talking about Earth 2.0, this transition, 2D, 3D, all the way to 5D, and it's going down right now. Now, Anaiis, before the break, we started to talk about the Mandela effect. Certainly, it has been one of the most talked about subjects of the last year. And the reason for that is because everybody knows that there is something going on. What's your take on this?
I think we're all jumping timelines, and we're trying to figure out, and our multidimensional selves are trying to figure out where to place us for the optimal expression of who we're meant to be while we're here. And things are changing so fast. The planet's resonance is changing so fast that if you haven't been holding a certain continuity of vibration for quite some time, this is going to be destabilizing to your continuity structure. And so you're having breaks in continuity while your multidimensional self moves you around to try to get you on the optimal timeline for your best experience.
For you, when you first heard about the Mandela effect, you went back, you looked at yourself, and you probably said, okay, this is interesting. But then something happened. Something happened to you. What was your Mandela effect moment?
Oh, I haven't had any. When I was listening to other people describe the situation, what I was experiencing was they were coming onto my timeline that I've been on for quite some time.
So you haven't had, okay. Well, I guess what I'm asking is this. What about, of course, there's the Berenstain Bears, or the shuttle disasters and when those happened, or Captain Crunch or not Captain Crunch. Did you have any of those where you started to question your own past, how you remembered things?
No. What was so interesting to me was and I followed this a lot and read people's experiences and saw where they were where their continuity was breaking down. And let me describe this again. When I do a quantum jump, for instance, the last quantum jump I did resulted in 2 of my bank cards being disabled, not for any reason, but something the bank did because my identity had changed and my bank cards were no longer in alignment with that frequency. Say
that again? That's crazy.
That's what happened. And it was so funny because I told a friend about it and I was describing it. I said, oh, that just means my money dynamic changed. 2 days later, my major gift came through the door.
Wow, that's insane.
So I want people to understand this. When these little discontinuities happen, you got to just take it in stride.
Oh. Are you saying you just took that in stride?
I did. I just called my bank. I said, hey, what's going on here, you know?
That's what that was my question. So how did you get it fixed?
Well, I went into the bank. And I just very, 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 very directly brought the woman in the bank into my vibrational frequency so that we got everything straightened out. And I walked out of the bank with the two, and they were so apologetic. They were really flummoxed. They didn't know how it had happened. They couldn't account for it. They knew it had happened, that someone in the bank had done it. They couldn't explain to me how or why, because there was no reason. And so I said, look, just give me my new cards. I laughed it off. I was like, look, I just did a quantum jump. You know, these cards are no longer in alignment with my energy. I'm cool.
Do you do Twitter?
No, not much.
Okay. Well, I'm posting a picture of David Icke on September 17th on stage. Okay, and I'm gonna post this now because I want the reactions from everybody. I believe I took this, but if I didn't, it doesn't matter. But
did you guys all quantum jump that day together?
Wait till you see this pic.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Rita, email this really quick to Anaiis. She knows what we're about to trip out on. Okay, there it is. Everybody,
let me see if I can get it open without losing you. I'm scared to death to lose you.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, so I'll describe the picture to you. I was sitting in the front row. And the center aisle, and I took this pic, and this pic of Icke, he's invisible.
Exactly.
Dude is invisible.
Exactly. That's what happens.
You should see this.
I can't wait to see it. Thanks, Jimmy. That's awesome. You see, you are validating my experience. I really appreciate that.
I don't know. I've never posted this pic before. Rita just found this, and I remember taking it, but I never posted it because it's too freaky. And so in this pic, David is he's got one arm up and he's pointing and talking. There he is, and then his arm is invisible, and it's going through these light waves that are crossing in front. You have to see it. It's just like, now I don't know how that works, and I know that it's strange, and there's an anomaly here, and it's a digital photograph, and there's artifacts, and it's the way that the light hits the CCD. I understand all of that, people. Okay, but the point is, it's a trippy ass picture, right?
Yeah, and it happened at a particular time when we know something interesting was going on.
Yep, and the power that was going down in this room that day, and it's September 17th, the day after. Yes. And Twitter is lighting up right now. Look at that.
Great. Okay.
But it's a trippy picture. Rita, send this. You can check your email, can't you?
Well, I'm going there now.
Yeah, don't be scared.
I want to see this because I am not at all surprised because when I describe it to people, it's like you're there, you're not there, you've quit, but it happens so fast. And the continuity is there. But what's happening now is that the difference in the frequencies and the vibrations has reached a point where the continuity for some people is not holding up as well. And that wasn't David Icke's experience. David Icke did not have a break in continuity. The people in the room did. Right.
It's a trippy picture.
Okay, wait, I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going to add my account, go into this. I turn everything off because Skype can be so
it can
grouchy.
Be weird. But it's getting better. It's getting better. So now when I don't, her emails are bouncing. Okay. All right. We're going to get you you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Because the Mandela effect, what I love about it is It's not a small group of people talking about it. It's not like some strange thing. It is millions and millions of people are tripping out going, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. That's not what I remember. Mm-hmm. I remember something totally different. And do not tell me that it's my mind or it's my memory, because I remember it differently. And I'll give you an example. And this is really, really strange. Rita, my wife, is Russian, right? Well, she's a lot of things, but Russian, Greek, Armenian, right? Okay, so that being said, sex in the city, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Or is it sex and the city? Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't matter. What really matters here is the version that played in Russia with the translation was sex in the city.
Yes.
Now, it is apparently it's sex and the city. I've never said sex and the city ever. Mm-hmm. It's always been sex in the city. But how would the translation be that wrong? Because in the Russian language, sex, or the word in and the word and, are two totally different things. And it's not, that kind of mistake is not going to get made, number one.
We're focusing on the wrong things here. That's an artifact of a jump.
That's right.
It's not something to focus on.
No, what it is a validation of proof where it's not somebody's messed up memory.
That's correct. It's not somebody's messed up memory. It's a little bit of a glitch in a jump. Now we are able to jump. Yes, the timeline are changing. It's big jumps. It's including lots of people. Timelines are collapsing and they're converging. And it's Gaia's, we're all, those of us who kind of want to do the Earth 2.0 5D thing, we want to be on Gaia's timeline. Well, when I had my experience at the retreat, the timeline that I was on when I went to that retreat was not the timeline I was on when I got home. In fact, it took me 7 hours to get down there.
Explain. Hold on a minute here. Explain that.
I'm going to explain it. The timeline, the person who I was and the timeline that I was on when I drove down to that retreat, because I drove to Virginia, got there, did my thing. I took the exact same route back home, cruise control set, right? And it took me 7 hours to get down there. During the return trip, I was so disoriented. I did not know where I was. And I stopped at a rest stop to check that I hadn't gotten lost because nothing looked familiar. Nothing. Checked. They said, yeah, you're fine. Just keep. And I went. Took me 4 hours to get home. Where did those 3 hours go?
Wow. What do you think happened?
I was out of the time-space continuum because I had been pulled out so that I could be placed on this timeline.
Right.
So don't worry about the artifacts. Understand the dynamic.
Deuce Guy says, Jimmy, please ask Anaiis whether or not there is a gender dichotomy in Earth 2.0. That is both male and female, or is it gender neutral?
Gender neutral. Well, see, I have to talk about the third way. We are moving out of duality. That's part of what the movement is that Gaia is doing, because the system of control has relied on duality to keep certain energy dynamics in place. That's the drama engine. Duality is a drama engine. Okay? You got things spinning in opposite directions. That creates drama and conflict.
Sure.
Right, that's the short. I'm going to give you the shorthand version of this. Okay, that's the quick story. So where we're headed now, we're always going to have a dynamic because of the way the electromagnetics work on the planet and the way things get created, where we have a flow that changes angles of perception, but no longer in conflict. That brings in a third way, right? From the male-female polarity, if you want to think of the divine masculine and the divine feminine as a kind of a polarity.
Right.
Think of bringing in now a third way that opens up all other kinds of combinations of perception and angles of perception and viewpoints and perspectives that we haven't been able to have because we've been locked in duality.
Check your Skype right now. Check your Skype text. There's your David Icke right there.
Okay, wait, I'm going back to Skype now. Ooh. Oh my God.
Yep. Oh my God.
Wow. I
know,
love it.
right?
Yes, and I'll bet if you talk to David, he had no discontinuity in his consciousness.
I've got a better picture. Rita, send me the picture of Ike and I backstage where we are enlightening each other.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you got to see this one. I'll send this one to you too next. It's trippy. Well, David would do this thing. I want to move on really quick, but David would do this thing on stage, right? He'd hold both of his arms out and out in front of him, and close his eyes, right? And he'd be like, "Okay, let's do this together." And he did it a bunch of times. So we get backstage, Rita and I, right after he's done, and he'd been up there for like 10 hours. Yeah, 10 hours. No joke. I mean, 10 hours on his feet. But so we go backstage, and David goes, "So let's take a picture." I said, "Okay, only if we can enlighten." He's like, "What?" I go, "Dude, let's do the thing." And he goes, "Oh, yeah. All right." So we did that together in the room. Oh, it's a pretty cool pic. So we'll get that one to you next.
Oh,
all right.
So great. Jimmy, this is so much fun. Who knew you had all this going on? This is a fabulous conversation.
This is what we do every single night. All right. Now, I want to go back and ask you about the bridge that you were talking about between 3D and 5D Earth. How were you able to go back and forth, and what do you experience there?
Well, it's a shift. It's a shift in consciousness. It's exactly like what happens when David phases out, like Skype, Beam Me Up Scotty. He phased out a little bit, right?
Right.
So with my consciousness and a shift in attention and intention and attention, I would go into 3D because I had something to do in 3D. Now, when I would get in, what I would feel would be compression. I would feel friction. I would feel what I call fractiousness. And sometimes there would be an event that was unpleasant because I was now involved in the energy of other people, right?
Right.
In 3D. The car breaks down, that kind of thing, right? So then I would do what I needed to do, and I would come back into my space. And it would take me, although I would shift my attention, it would sometimes take me as long as 2 days to get my vibrational rate back up to 5D. And it was very unpleasant. Very unpleasant.
How so?
Because it doesn't feel good. 5D feels great. 3D, not so much. There is this, it's the overlays. It is the result of so many years of suppression and contraction and blood sport and broken hearts and people not knowing why they're alive. Right?
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
That doesn't feel good.
And you don't know until you do it, right?
Exactly.
Is 3D okay? Well, it's not. It is for those of us that have never experienced 5D.
Exactly.
But once you do the bridge and you come back, it sucks. Is that what you're saying? You just don't want to do it?
That's right. And fortunately, in the last 5 or 6 weeks, I don't know whether it's because I'm not on an assignment right now, because I get assignments and I have to go do stuff. And then I get a little bit of a rest, right? So right now, I don't feel that's what happened. I feel that I am solidly now in 5D. I go and visit my family in 3D. I come back and I'm building now. I'm starting to work on the new paradigms on Earth 2.0. But I've learned how to adapt my consciousness and to do certain energetic practices so that when I have to go into 3D, my energy controls. Right?
Right.
So we don't get stuck in the traffic jam.
Right. What do you think about the reports that have been coming out now in the scientific community when we're talking about string theory and the quantum side of things, that there's a very strong possibility that we are living in a hologram, that this is not real, that the string theory is vibrating, one of those dimensions is vibrating onto our 2D plane, which gives us the illusion of a 3D life. What do you make about it?
I think that's perfectly plausible. Now, my question is, what's the relevance of that? If we're here to learn, and we're here to master our consciousness, and we're here to understand who we are, then that's like, sure, that I could absolutely see that being the case. And so then that brings us to the question, well, what happens when we die?
Right.
We're just playing a different tune.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So do you subscribe to that? I mean,
a hologram?
Yes. And also
essentially at its core, yes.
Is it because of the ones and zeros and a digital sense that
no. Gosh, I wish this is where words fail.
Right.
But
no, I don't mean I don't mean it like that. What I'm trying to suggest here is where you have all of these software and internet billionaires up in Palo Alto and Silicon Valley that are now taking their money, and I am referring directly like to Bill Gates and Elon Musk and these, where they're saying, you know what, I'm going to check this out because I'm not sure if we're in a reality here that we think is real. I think that we're living in the Matrix.
Well, that's, what a great sales tool.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
To take us out of the organic world, which we're killing, we're destroying it. What a great sales tool to say, oh, what, you know what, this isn't real. All this death and destruction and the Fukushima radiation that's been leaking out since 2011, it's not real. It's a hologram. Don't worry about it. Come on into the virtual world.
Wow.
We'll sell it to you.
Wow. That's heavy. I didn't want to go there, but that's,
Jimmy,
yeah, that's a pretty heavy thought. That's a pretty heavy thought to deflect off of everything else that is bad and just say, well, you know what? It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being fed this information.
Whereas when you're in the 5D mindset, you don't want to escape this reality. You don't want to leave this planet that we've trashed. You want to cherish it and clean it up.
Wow.
Can I sell you that?
No. That's harder.
Bingo.
That's work.
Hey, bingo.
Yeah, that's work. And to that end, why is it that we always go down the easy road? Because we have all day long, life gives us the right way and the wrong way. And it gives us a decision. And we know the right way, but we don't take it. Because
I see that as a function of our DNA mashup with the reptilian DNA. It is the basis for what is called the human condition and the inner conflict. That is the basis of it.
Keep going. Finish that thought.
So we have distinct genetic mashup going on here, and we've been tinkered with for a long time. And now we've reached a point where those who were designed to work and be slaves think that they're going to be free. We were genetically designed to do all the work here for other people. But through the process of trying to, move some things along in the directions of beings who've been stuck here now for thousands of years, they can't get out of here.
Right. And,
right?
Yeah, and it's just an easy way to go, right? Everybody go, and I've always I live my life that way, and I raised my daughters that way. And Rita, from the word go, okay, it's hard to be a good person. It's hard. It's work. You got to work at it. It's easy to be bad.
It's only that way if you haven't synthesized your reptilian and your mammalian DNA.
Right.
So we all have that opportunity right now. I'm actually teaching that.
Very interesting. You want to take some phone calls?
Oh, why not?
Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to open up the phone lines now, 323-825-5045. I'll get everybody in line, and when we come back, we'll start taking some phone calls.
Thanks, Jimmy. That's fun. Okay.
Yeah, it's totally cool. But I had a question here that I wanted to get to, and is this. With all of the researchers, channelers, contactees, experiencers, there are hundreds of thousands of testimony and books and video. It's all out there. But we have a problem here. We have an issue that ET is bad and ET is good. ET is here to manipulate the Illuminati and the Cabal and the New World Order, and they're here for bad things and they want to control us. Then we have the other side that says, absolutely not. They're here to help us. They're here to help us with Mother Earth and let us know what is going on. What do we do with this information? Which side, or are they both here?
They're both here. You pick your reality. You choose.
Does this come from your contacts and who is speaking to you and your guides?
Mm-hmm. You choose. We choose. We get to choose. You literally get to choose. Which one do you want?
So
that will be your experience.
So when we hear the talk about the Cabal, whether it's the Rothschilds or the Queen Mother in England or the Bush family, that you feel that your information is that, yes, indeed, there is an off-world influence that is guiding them down the wrong road.
Yes, and I feel that part of what's a beautiful opportunity right now from the Earth 2.0 perspective is that we get to rewrite that history.
Okay. All right.
And
go ahead.
Well, it's, I'm really on this right now. This is where I'm at right now is we're going to, in a way, go back to the future and rewrite that history. Now, if we could do this as a collective and we were all awake and aware, it would be so much easier to do and it would be so much more fun.
Let's take some phone calls. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
PatriotPrepared.com carries the leading brands of storable food from Numana, Legacy, and Heaven's Harvest. Patriot Prepared. Our name says it all. We're dedicated to empowering you to be self-reliant and confident in any circumstance. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, PatriotPrepared.com has prepackaged meals and kits for your entire family. Legacy, Heaven's Harvest, and Numana are known for high-quality, great-tasting GMO-free, nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. Simple to prepare, easy to store, gluten-free and organic high-quality nutrition options with a 25-year shelf life. You can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. So go to PatriotPrepared.com right now to pick up your supply of high-quality storable food for your family, because it makes good sense to be prepared. That's PatriotPrepared.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn
it. This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Anaiis Salles, and we're doing it all tonight. The transition, 3D, 5D, Earth 2.0. It's going down here on Fade to Black. Anaiis, it's been a wonderful conversation, and let's just keep it going and go straight to the phones. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Oh, did you see the picture I just put in?
I'm amazed. I just can't believe it.
Is that trippy? Is that trippy?
I love it.
Man, it was that's a moment in time right there. Okay,
right.
Here we go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Anaiis. Who's calling? You're live.
Hi, it's Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. How are you?
Oh, good. Great. I'm really enjoying the conversation tonight.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Timelines and all that. And I was wondering if there was a clue into when the event was going to happen and how the timelines are affecting the solar sneeze, if you will.
You know, Patricia, that is the question for everybody, and I totally get that. I totally get that. I totally get that. So, Anaiis, I mean, everybody wants to know. This is great, and we're hip, and we hear you. But give us a date.
Jimmy, you'll be the first person I call. When I wake up and Gaia says to me, okay, it's on today, I will call you.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
So we don't have a ballpark figure.
Yeah, how about a ballpark?
She called me on the 16th of September and said, hey, it's on, right?
Right. Well, Patricia just said, Patricia, if you want to co-host the show, you can. Patricia. You're doing a good job. Patricia said, "Give me a ballpark. Give me just put me in the game somewhere. How about a ballpark next year, 2018?"
So, Patricia, I need to ask you what you mean by the event.
Well, that they all talk about the sun sneezing, so we'll put out a special pulse, I suppose. Right, that's going to trigger the mass awakening, the mass consciousness, or unified consciousness.
Okay. I think that the sun will sneeze when we are all in agreement that we're ready.
Do we want that?
Well, I know. I've heard that, too, many times.
Yes.
But,
It scares me. It scares me. It doesn't sound
there
fun.
Somebody must be measuring somewhere about our awakening, and that somebody has determined, I'm sure, when.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
And thank you for bringing this question forward, because I think it's a really interesting thing to talk about. One of the things I think we all have an issue with is that most of us are afraid to, quote, die. And most of us don't have memory of being anything or anybody except who we are right now in these bodies. Yeah? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So what if we need to move further along to the point where, as a collective consciousness, we are really clear that there's no need to have fear about either of those things. So we might need to spend some more time becoming soul embodied here on the planet as our multidimensional selves, and having the opportunity to quantum jump, and having the opportunity to appreciate that we're so much more than we think we are, and that we're not dependent on these bodies to have an experience of what we would think of as a very, very delicious life.
Okay, so would there be a specific trigger to awaken somebody to that train of thought, or to open their mind?
I think that there are triggers, but we're popping like popcorn, and mostly we're popping one by one. But I will say to you that a program like Jimmy is putting on, and the work that Jimmy does, there are so many of us right now. We're like the microwave around your popcorn.
I totally agree with that. 100%.
Wow. Yeah.
We want you to pop. We're ready for you to pop, and we are your microwave.
I totally agree. Okay. Patricia, thank you for the phone call.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you, Patricia.
It's very enlightening, and I appreciate everything you're doing, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. Be safe out there.
Your guest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Say hi to Anaiis.
Hi, this is Kendra from Ventura.
Hi, Kendra from Ventura.
Hello, Kendra.
Love the show and all the amazing things that you're talking about, and it's vibrating with me big time. Something I've been thinking about, we hear a lot of talk, of course, about 5D, and kind of think I know what that's all about. But what about 4D? I don't hear much about
I'd love to talk to you about 4D. I'd love that. Okay, so 4D, there is a part of 4D that's clean and clear and of a natural step-up resonance to 5D. But what we need to appreciate is that there was a whole complete false light will paradigm that was constructed in the fourth dimension, in the astral realm. This is being compressed, and it's being broken down, and it's really being taken apart. And what that does is then it makes the distance that 3D to meet 5D, if you want to think of it that way, right? That's what has changed so radically since the beginning of this year, because so much of the astral realm, the lower astral realm, has been cleaned out.
Yep.
Does that make sense to you, dear?
Thank you.
Thank you,
so much.
Kendra. Great phone call. I had always wondered about 4D myself, because I don't want to say that it's a trend or it's a buzzword, because it's genuine research, and I get that. But Kendra's right. We always hear about 5D, and we don't hear about 4D, and it seems like it's been bypassed. But thank you for that explanation.
You're welcome.
Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Aisa. Anaiis. Aisa, where did that come from?
Oh, it's one of my old names, Jimmy. Don't worry about it.
That's a past life reference.
That's right.
Are you there?
Hi, how are you, Jimmy?
I'm doing good. Who's calling?
This is Bob from Queens. I'm going to tell you something. I wrote a song called "I'm Your World." It was written quite a few years back, but I've got a new album coming out now, and this song's going to be on it. And it just really gets me that she's been talking about this, because my song is exactly like this. The whole world's talking to mankind.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, send it to me. I'd like to hear it.
I will. Our album will be out very shortly. I've also wrote a whole new music around around snowboarding. So this is going to be, Jimmy, I am so burned up. I read somebody that knocked you terribly on the phone and on the tweets, and I am so. This guy's a jerk.
Oh, okay.
He's a real jerk. I mean, he was write such nasty stuff about you, and you were one of the greatest. You are one of the greatest. You and Art Bell, I think about. I like you ordinary too, but you are great.
Well, the thing is, when anybody says something negative, I love it. You know why?
I know what you mean. Because I get it all the time. They don't pay no attention to it.
That's right. That's because this show matters. That's why.
It sure does.
Nobody's going to take the time to write something negative about something that doesn't matter.
That's right.
And
You're absolutely right.
If they want to take the time to do it, go for it.
That's right, Jimmy. Go for it. So, man, you keep on rocking. You are the best, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the phone call. Wow, that was the check is in the mail. That's
beautiful.
And what do we do? One of the things that I do talk about a lot on this show is the influence of not only mainstream media, but the internet in general, and Twitter and Facebook, and the negativity that now can ebb and flow emotions, millions of people at a time now. And we've been going through that this last year where friends are now enemies, right? Neighbors aren't talking. Your boss just fired you. I mean, it's crazy. What do we do about this?
We'll outgrow it.
How so? I mean, that's easy to say, but
well, it's a function of maturity, right? So this is just us just throwing up all the crap, all the forms of the crap, right? All the shadow stuff, all of the stuff that we want to keep buried. It's just your skin cells die and fall off. It's just. We'll outgrow it. What we want to do, those of us who are aware, is to not allow ourselves to be manipulated and used and have our energy siphoned off because we're not smart enough to see what's going on.
Right. And I think that we're also starting. We've woken up to the influence of the negativity out there, the fake news and the postings and Facebook and Twitter. When somebody has the ability, and it doesn't matter who it is, it could be a pop star, it could be a movie star, it could be a politician, it doesn't matter. But if you've got 1 million followers on Twitter, right, 2 million, 3 million, and you post a tweet, you are good or bad, negative or positive. You have the influence with the click of a mouse to force people into a direction, a wave, and it's instantaneous.
Well, isn't that informative?
It is, and even though we've woken up to that, we found out what those two words mean, right? Fake news, right? But we don't care. That's the other thing. We don't care. We're okay with the fake news. It doesn't, and to hear somebody say, well, yeah, you know what, it's fake, but I'm still going to react to this. And I still don't like you because you don't like the fake news, right? It's like crazy.
Oh, now it's becoming a divine comedy.
Totally.
Seriously,
yes.
Divine comedy. And I just laugh. I laugh. I mean, what else? It's when you really sort of just move your chair over 3 inches, it's hysterically funny.
Well, I'm more upset that even myself, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing, right, and in what form of media that I'm speaking in or appearing in, that now I have to be very cautious about my thoughts or my words because I can affect people. And I don't want this audience to fight amongst themselves either, right? I want us all to stay united. And I've been very outspoken about this. Come on, guys. Don't let your emotions get wrapped up into this. It's all BS, right? But
Jimmy, that is so beautiful what you just said, because that's what a co-creator would say. What a conscious co-creator would say is that I am responsible for what I put out into the world. I know that it affects other people. Do you have a way to talk to Trump?
Okay, we're going to move on. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Say hi to Anaiis.
Hey, this is Joe from Arkansas.
Hey, Joe from Arkansas. I hope you have a radio program with those pipes.
You know I do, Jimmy. But yeah, I do a radio show. But I wanted to ask her, because I've had Jimmy's question about the Illuminati, the evil or the good. And I was just wondering if she is familiar with the brothers and the sisters of the White Lodge.
That's not where my, that's not, how do I say this?
Because you sound like one is what I'm saying. The protectors of the earth and consciousness and seeing things. You got to really, your consciousness is really up level. You're really aware. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I come from a very large community of aware, loving beings who have been wonderful companions and teachers from all kinds of, let me just say, spaces and dimensions and places. And so I have always thought that we have a tendency here on Earth to label things, to categorize, and to ascribe meaning to using those labels and categories, that sometimes that's not a good idea. Right. So I want to thank you for that. I would certainly, I would humbly say thank you for that, because that's quite an honor and a compliment. But my guides and teachers have specifically instructed me to stay away from labels and categories.
I got you. Great show, Jimmy. Last night was good, and this one's even better. Keep it up, brother.
It's all good. Thank you, Joe. He brings up a point there at the end. I don't know how this miracle of light happens every night on this show, where somebody goes, what's your favorite show? Well, you know what? The last one.
Right.
Or
That's
this
awesome,
one.
Jimmy.
But,
you must be so proud of yourself. This is wonderful.
Okay. I have been instructed here through Twitter and a couple of emails to go back to this Anaiis accident. And also, is there a physical change in these jumps?
Yes.
How do we feel physically? Are there any effects that happen?
Yes. Generally speaking, when you're jumping this way, the more conscious you are, the more bliss you will experience, the more electromagnetic charge you will be carrying, the more impact and effect you will have, and the more your very DNA will be nurtured.
Interesting. And so it's cumulative? You'll pick up where you left off, so to speak?
Well, I'm getting younger.
What about, before we get back to Anaiis, that's interesting, because I think that a lot of us feel, and I don't think it's an age thing, I think it's a world thing, it's a Gaia thing, that time seems to be speeding up. And if that is the case, we would be getting younger if we recognized what was going on. Do you think that's part of it?
I do, and I think she's changing our DNA.
Right. Why is it that I don't have any wrinkles? I'm 53.
Why is that, Jimmy? You should look at my picture. You should see me. People think I'm 40.
Right? Yeah, you do look great. Rita and I were talking about that. Oh, I don't get it. And I think a large part of it is my own mind. I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 20. Mm-hmm. Right? I do. Age and those numbers, I just don't recognize. I don't.
Right.
But I look at members of my own family who are younger than me that are different physically. I don't have any wrinkles. I don't have any gray hair.
It's how you're using your light, Jimmy, and how your body and your DNA is bending your light. And you're making very good and efficient and sound, wise choices with how you use your light.
And I did it unconsciously, right? I just decided to just live life and not worry about how old I am, right?
Yeah.
Even though I do love celebrating my birthday. I love a good shot of ice cold vodka. So I do that. But how do we get other people to also get into this frame of mind and get rid of numbers and, like you said, banners and groups?
And labels and categories.
Right.
Well, I think, again, one can always simply just choose to relax. Relaxing is good. It's good for the body. One can just relax. And then if you happen to have the good fortune of getting a glimpse of yourself in a past life, and you really appreciate that that's you in some other time scenario, and it's lovely when it's past, because then you can say, well, geez, that was 500 years ago.
Right.
So really, how old am I really?
Right. How old do you think you are, really?
Oh, I'm thousands of years old.
Right. And what about this Anaiis reference? I have no idea where that came from.
It's all right. That's okay. It's one of my interplanetary identities. It's funny that you said it.
No, it's amazing. Now, you're not messing with me, are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Who is Anaiis?
Well, she's an alternate, and I'm here in the interview, and she's not, and she's a past reference, and I call my website Living Lessons Library for a reason. Yeah?
Right.
So it's really simple. So imagine that you have a bookshelf on a particular topic or theme, and you have one book, and then another book, and then another book, and then another book, and all of those books are really wonderful to dive in if you're interested in that particular topic.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
So my book name right now is Anaiis, but another book on my shelf right next to me is Aisa. Right?
Shut up. You're messing with my head.
I'm not. I'm totally not.
Oh, man.
Jimmy, you got this. Come on. Who are you kidding?
That's trippy. I mean, I'm going to say, I've never even said that name before. Yeah. And it just came out.
Yeah.
It just did. It did. Everybody, this is a live radio show, folks. This is not, this is the real deal. And that's messing with me. That's really trippy. I mean, we always want evidence, right? We always want proof. We want to, give us the evidence. This sounds fine, church. It's all good. But I just did it right there.
You just did.
Wow. That's cool. That is really cool. What was I had something that I wanted to say really quick. Oh, I wanted to ask you, how do you think you got to the point where you are? And what I want to say is this: how did you get to cool status? Were you always
cool status?
Yeah, were you always cool? Or did you see something that you needed to change in yourself? Or who you are today, were you always this person?
Oh, no. It's been a wonderful journey. It's been a real progression. And I've been really fortunate, because I have a wonderful, loving family who were just give her space. She's going to be fine. She's good. Beaver, just give her room. And then I have this internal compass that is so bloody constant and consistent. And it always takes me home. And it always gently asks me to question what my choices are.
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful thing. Yeah. No. I don't know that I've achieved the status of cool, but I have achieved happiness.
Well, that's it. Bliss is the key, right? And
Yeah.
you found your bliss. But what about your family? I told you at the beginning of this conversation that we would end with this question, which is, here you are today. You didn't become a lawyer. You're not a doctor, right?
Nope.
You didn't do any of that. How is your family looking at you today?
My family is very generous of spirit, and they refer to me as a self-actualized being. And they're happy with that.
And that's it. So,
yes, and they're very, very, very glad to share time with me.
Right.
And it's a lovely thing. It's really quite lovely.
What's the best way for everybody to get a hold of you? We do have, Rise Multiversity, right? We've got that .org, and of course, livinglessonslibrary.com. What's the best way for everybody to get a hold of you?
That's actually a great way to go to the website, because I have a little pop-up contact thing there where you can just reach out to me, and I will absolutely respond.
Are you doing any, I know you mentioned Europe, but are you speaking around the United States right now?
Not yet. I did that in the 90s, and I was all over Europe, and I flew, and I was up and down the coast every 6 weeks, and it was really intense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am gradually coming out of mothballs to consider doing that again. And this week, the sort of the guidance was to consider doing something in Canada, and then to begin doing some work here in the United States again. So I think it's coming.
Yeah, you should. You need to get, one of the most wonderful things that Rita and I do, and I mean this because I do this radio show, whether it's, Fade to Black or Coast to Coast or whatever. I'm in a room by myself, right?
Yeah,
and I do it every night of the week. And so, but the best thing, the most wonderful thing is just getting out there, going out and hanging out with everybody and talking and feeling the vibe that is out there. So I'm going to suggest this to you now. Get out there. Get out. Go.
Well, I'm open to getting out there. So if anybody's listening and they have an impulse, they reach out to me, and I'm delighted to talk about those things because it's fun, and I do enjoy very, very much being live with other people. It's what I can do online with a group of people energetically with the computer is quite something, but to do it in a room live, yeah,
it's a totally different vibe.
It's great.
Thank you so much, Anaiis. It was just a wonderful, perfect conversation. And it couldn't have been any better for myself or the audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's so kind, Jimmy. I really appreciate it. And I love your show.
Thank you so much. And get out there.
Okay.
Get out there and go change some more people. Thank you so much.
Take care. Good night.
You got
Thanks.
it. Anaiis Salles. Yes, her websites are livinglessonslibrary.com and risemultiversity.org. Those links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll go ahead and keep the phone lines open. 323-825-5045. Quick short break, and I'll get back with all the news that you know nothing about. Stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter,
but listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years.
He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave moisture control units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Just going to let everybody know I was hanging out a little bit over here in the chat room. Catalina's off the hook, man. She just posted one of the most prophetic statements I have ever read in the history of man. So much so that I can't read it on the air. And that is the truth. All right. Before anybody ask me, you're just going to have to either go over to the chat room or somebody can post it on Twitter. I can't say it live. I've got a couple of calls on hold, so I'll get to you in just a second. But a woman has been arrested in connection with the death of Kim Jong-un's Fatty Fat's half-brother. She was detained today at Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur International Airport carrying a Vietnamese travel document. The woman was identified from CCTV footage at the airport and was alone when she was apprehended. The captured images, and this is what's interesting, was of her wearing a white T-shirt with LOL on the front. Yeah, how uncool, right? That's besides the point. But, man, 2 Asian women were suspected of killing Kim Jong-nam, who died soon after being attacked Monday at the same airport. Investigators are awaiting the results of an autopsy on his body. Now, North Korean officials spent hours and hours today trying to talk Malaysia out of conducting an autopsy on Kim Jong-nam. Malaysian authorities refused the request, and no decision. So they're doing the autopsy now, and no decision has been made whether they're even going to send the body back to North Korea. Crazy. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Bill over in Missouri.
Hey, Bill in Missouri. How you doing, man?
Hey, I was wondering, are you guys in the downside of that dam that's possible failing?
No, that's way up north. That's way up north, but yeah, that's.
I'm glad you're not in it, man.
Well, they got the evacuations done. That's for sure. It is the biggest dam in the country, and most people don't realize that. We think of the Hoover Dam, and other dams. This is a really, it's the biggest dam in the country. But they've done the evacuations. One thing is for sure, Bill, we've had our share of rain, and it has not stopped. It's probably going to rain tomorrow. It has not stopped. The rain and the snow just hasn't stopped. So
the rest of the country can expect a lot of food from California, you think?
Well, I think that we got past that for sure with the snowpack. Where we get our water, certainly we get it from rain, right? We have our reservoirs here. But sure. Basically speaking, the way that California runs is we have got this network throughout the state, and when the snow melts, that's where our water comes from, the snowpack every year. See, the Sierra Nevada. Here in Los Angeles, we have these aqueducts that Mulholland built, and he built those and brought water to Los Angeles. So the snow melts. They call it the Los Angeles River, by the way, but it's just it's concrete. And that's where we get our water from. We get our water from the snow. Yeah, most people don't know that. They just think, we turn on our taps here and we just have water automatically. No, it comes from the snow. And I think those issues are definitely past us, at least for the next year or so. I think we're in the clear.
So I'm sure they run it through their plants and process it with fluoride and all that good stuff and keep it germ-free and everything, supposedly, right?
Well, it's fresh water from the mountains. But what happens with the fluoride and everything else? Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Hey, Bill, thank you for the concern, and it is.
You guys are okay, man. That's all I wanted. I just hoping you guys were in good position,
Yeah, we are, and again, thank you for the phone call. And the reason why I think that is important is that we caught this early on, right? The damage is on the top of it, and hopefully things would just be prevented. But, evacuating 200,000 people pretty much indefinitely. They're not told when they can return. So there you go. All right. I'll take a couple more phone calls. 323-825-5045. But check this out. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Is this thing on? Are you listening? Listen to this, folks. Winston Churchill, his essay on alien life has been found. He penned the first draft, perhaps for London's News of the World Sunday newspaper, in 1939, when Europe was on the brink of war. He revised it lightly in the late 1950s while staying in the south of France at the villa of his publisher, Emery Reeves. I think it's Reves, R-E-V-E-S. For example, he changed the title from Are We Alone in Space to Are We Alone in the Universe? And he did this to reflect the changes in scientific understanding and terminology. Wendy Revis, the publisher's wife, passed the manuscript to the United States National Churchill Museum archives in the 1980s. The essay has remained in a private collection and has never been published or subjected to scientific or academic scrutiny. Excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. I need something to drink. Man, was that me? Wow, that was weird. Huh. That shouldn't have happened. Okay. Is this. I went and read a bunch of the excerpts. And I'm going to say this about Winston. Dude got it. He totally understood the significance of the amount of stars and possible planets associated with those stars in our own galaxy, in the Milky Way. And the fact that there is absolutely, mathematically, no way we are alone. And so there's that part of it. And he touches on everything. Amino acids, water, elements, iron, the basic things in life. Touches upon everything in a very, very visionary sense. And I'm telling you, after reading through it today, I felt like this thing was written this week. Winston Churchill, man. I mean, who thought? And I cannot believe that this has been in a private collection, that it has never been read before. You need to go check it out. It's out there. Winston Churchill's Essay on Alien Life. Again, it is called Are We Alone in the Universe? It's 11 pages. Go and read it. It's absolutely amazing. Well, okay, here we go. We've had a lot of breaking news certainly over the last month. A lot of craziness has gone down. Washington right now, right? Okay, we're going to get through it. I'm not worried about it. You know, we always figure out a way to get things done. I'm not tripping on that. But today, the Defense Department says that they want to propose that the United States send ground combat forces into Syria. Yeah. And they've got a plan. And this can happen almost immediately. And they want to do this for the first time to speed up the fight against ISIS. Now, until now, only small teams made up of largely, special ops forces have operated in Syria, providing training and assistance to anti-ISIS opposition groups on the ground. And I get that. But this is like, once it goes, right, the idea gets put out there, it starts to get discussed, the next thing you know, right? And then I'm going to follow that up with this. And I hope that we don't. I really, really don't. I think it's a very complicated situation. And it's a dangerous one. The head of the U.S. Special Operations said today that the U.S. and its allies have eliminated more than 60,000 ISIS fighters, killed, dead. And that's an interesting number, since just last summer, they said that there were only 25 to 30,000 ISIS fighters in the entire world. It seems that I remember something about recruiting being so low that they couldn't keep up with their own losses. So shouldn't we be in negative numbers by now, right? I don't get it. And again, this is the media, this is the Pentagon and twisting numbers and getting things out of shape. But I have said on this show now for 3 years, this number, I mean, how is it possible that you remember, there's only 5,000 ISIS fighters, and they took over Iraq, half of Iraq? How is that possible? Well, then it got kicked up. The numbers increased, and they're recruiting. Now they're trying to tell us that they've killed 60,000. How many are left? Just 2 months ago, in December, the United Kingdom's Defense Secretary, and his name's Michael Fallon, provided a much smaller number, saying that 25,000 ISIS fighters had been killed. Now, again, I don't know what to believe, what to trust, who to believe, or what's going on. Nobody that I know has been to Syria. Nobody that I know has been to Iraq. Nobody that I know has put, eyeballs on the situation. And you probably don't know anybody either. So we don't know. What's the real number? But 60,000 is a very high number. How many are left? Shouldn't this be a mop-up operation at this point with just for Assad? Think about this. All right. A 3,000-year-old bronze spearhead embellished with gold has been discovered in the northeast of Scotland, with archaeologists declaring the weapon as the find of a lifetime. It was found during an excavation of land at Carnoustie in Angus, which is due to be turned into, are you ready? A couple of football pitches. Well, here we say soccer fields. But they almost got buried over. And they also, right next to this spearhead, was a scabbard, a bronze sword, and some other artifacts too as well. But this bronze spearhead, again, dating 3,000 years old, 1,000 BC, and it's embellished with gold. 1,000 BC. Think about that. And it is perfect. You should see the pictures. Absolutely incredible. All right. Well, the end may be near for a comet that has been breaking into pieces for more than 20 years. On February 12th, viewers using the SLU Online Observatory's telescope in Chile were among the first to see the nucleus of Comet 73P break into two pieces. Now, this raises doubts about whether the comet can survive another trip around the sun. The comet will make its closest approach on March 16th next month, about a month from today. Pretty cool. Well, it's kind of sad, but it's also pretty cool. Just as not at NASA, here we go. This is unbelievable, man. Just as NASA scientists were preparing to use Curiosity's wet chemistry experiment for the first time, the rover's drill broke. That's right. Throwing a key test for the organics on the red planet into doubt. Now, what's going on here? They have 9 buckets, right? They have 9 little canisters that they have a foil on the top. And the trick here is, and the problem, and what they were trying to do, is to grab soil, get it in. They have 9, get the foil on top before the atmosphere can affect it. And so they can get chemistry and testing done to see if they can get stuff to grow, right? That's the plan. Sounds good, right? Well, engineers can't drill now. And they finally were at a spot, and they were getting ready to use the drill. They have traced the problem to a stuck brake. That's right. A brake deep inside the motor. Now, what can you do about this from Earth? Right? Are we done? Is it toast? Well, they are trying to figure out, and this is where I just want to lose my mind. They want to try to figure out an alternative way to release the drill brake. If that fails, I had to hit the cough button. I'm losing my voice. I need some water. Where are my drinks? And I can't get up to the refrigerator. All right, Rita, if you can hear me, bring in some water. We've got 10 minutes to the end of the show. I may not make it. They're trying to figure out an alternative way to release the drill brake. If that fails, the team will begin to look at designing an alternative algorithm for drilling. Now, what does that even mean? What's an alternative for a drill? Now, they are thinking that they might be able to scoop instead of drill. And I'm not making any of this up, folks. It just may be that Curiosity has met its end of days. Well, in some of the exciting news, let's see here. Let me get the rest of this in here. King Tut, the search for that secret chamber that has been talked about for the last year, not only on this program, but others. The tomb of King Tut, that search will resume later this year when a team of Italian researchers begin the most in-depth investigation ever at the Boy King's burial site. A team from the Polytechnic University of Turin will scan the tomb and its surroundings with advanced radar technology. Ground-penetrating radar will scan depths up to 32 feet to provide information on existing underground structures. The researchers plan to carry out the first preliminary survey of the King Tut's tomb by the end of this month. Man, how cool is that? Could this be? Now, what they are doing, let me get a little bit in depth here. What they are doing with the ground-penetrating radar, they have some other technologies that they're using too, but they are trying to fully map everything in 3D, the Valley of the Kings, right? That's part of the project. So all of this equipment is there. They saw the anomalies on the south wall of King Tut's tomb, and it looks like it's been plastered and painted over, and there could be an entrance there. The tomb itself has never been messed with. It has never been touched. Thank you so much, Ree. Oh, man. Wada. It's never been touched. And it's right there. And so for the first time, again, you can't go in, you can't scrape, you can't do anything inside that tomb. But ground penetrating radar, wouldn't it be cool? The tomb was always too small. It didn't make sense. Could there be something on the other side of that wall? We're going to find out. Now, here we go. The X-37B, that top secret Air Force robotic space plane, is now 2 years in orbit. 2 years. 2 years. And it was announced, and I don't know why, that a regularly scheduled exercise was going to happen this week. Well, everybody thought it was going to land. But it turns out it's not preparing for a landing, as some reports have suggested around the web, and I did read all of those. Nope. Earlier today, NASA's spaceflight.com reported that the fourth X-37B mission was due to end with a touchdown at Kennedy's Space Center shuttle landing facility as early as 7:48 a.m. today. Well, it is not. The landing would have been the first Florida touchdown by the X-37B, and the previous three landings all occurred right here in Southern California at the Vandenberg Air Force Base. Well, one thing is for sure. That's exactly where the next landing is going to be, right here at Vandenberg. You can count on that. 2 years in space. 2 years. What is it doing up there? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. There's something going on. That is the secret space program running in real time. I talk about it all the time on this show. It's very important when we talk about the secret space program that is it possible for it to exist. And I love it when people come at me and I just go, look, dude, the X-37B. What more proof do you need than that? We don't know anything about it. We don't know what it's doing up there. Nothing. Completely classified. This is its fourth mission. 2 years. 2. Very interesting situation. Now, here we are on February 15th. Now, before I let you go, with my rant today and with my rant yesterday, talking about the NSA, this is what I want you guys to think about, because tomorrow's going to be a brand new day. It's going to be a brand new news cycle. It's going to be a brand new round of tweets and from the POTUS and from everybody else. This NSA situation is something that's not going to go away. All right? He's offended who he's offended. And I really mean this. It didn't have to be this way. It didn't. But what I want all of you to just observe, kick back, and watch and listen is the exposure that the NSA is going to do with previously stored information, both in written form, text, emails, and spoken word and recordings of telephone calls. Why? All of this mass collection, all of this data, and all of the metadata is done on everybody, every minute, every day. There isn't a phone call that you make that does not get stored. So later, for whatever reason, later on in life, something happens to you or something else, and they need to go back and make that reference, that data is there. Well, that is what is going on here. I keep bringing up Snowden. He warned us about this, right? And not only politicians, but military or you or whoever, you're out there talking on your phone, and you better be sure you have said what you have said, because if you go and say later, no, I didn't steal that car, I wasn't part of it, I didn't talk to anybody about it, nobody told me, well, you better be right, because they have the ability to take your phone number, go back to a specific date, pull up that data, and you are going to get busted. That's part of this mass surveillance. Now, is this an intrusion into our private lives? They are going to say that this is part of our safety, that we have to give up this part of our lives. Because if we ever need to go and find terrorists or find this or weapons of mass destruction here in the United States and there's some big plot, well, we have everything, we can go back. We're not spying on you. We don't know who you are. It's just data. But if we need it, we can go back and get it. Well, okay, that's all well and good. But that little thing right there that we are so concerned about is what is about to blow up Washington. And it's Washington that never thought it would happen to themselves. And that's what I want all of you to observe. Let's just watch this and see how this plays out. Will it be stopped? Will the surveillance be stopped? Will it take something like this to happen where Washington goes, okay, you know what? No, not us. So let's just stop this altogether. Sounds good, but you're not going to just flip a switch. It's not going to happen like that. And the NSA and anybody else can continue, the NRO can continue to do things, and we'll never know about it. So just think about that. That is my concern here. I don't care about who said what to who. I don't. But you better be sure about what you are saying now in public, because the NSA has the records. And if you're on the wrong side of the fence with the NSA, they are going to blow your cover. And that is what's going on. I am right. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night is another Fader night. It's Thursday night. John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom live, followed by your phone calls all night long. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark T. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Anaiis Salles. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.